class we discussed a poem, Jazz Poem 2, in which we saw or we discussed how powerful music is. So today we are going to discuss a story. It's not actually a story. It's a prose based on a real life incident. And so here in this piece of fiction or piece of literature, we'll see again like the power of music, and we'll talk about the unconditional love of a sister for her brother. Okay, so yeah, so in the textbook, uh, take the chapter The Concert, which is in Unit 5. Jazz Poem 2 was also from Unit 5. Now go for this chapter, The Concert. It is written by Shanda Rameshwar Rao. Okay, and it is based on a real life incident. So we'll read it and I'll explain it. So please read it along with me. Keep your text open. Don't feel lazy. So let us start. See the first paragraph now. One morning, in a small apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar's Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmughananda Auditorium. So it's very simple, right? There is nothing complicated in this paragraph. So the thing is, a girl of 16 years, she is reading a newspaper. So in that, she saw that uh, the great Indian musician, composer, and like the sitarist Pandit Ravi Shankar is conducting a concert in an auditorium named Shanmughananda Auditorium on the very next day. Okay, so she is a 16-year-old girl, and their location, or they are in an apartment in Bombay. And yeah, this is all about the basic details about that girl. So now let us see, like she looks so excited, she is really excited to hear about this news or read this particular news. And now we'll see like what made or why she is so much excited about Pandit Ravi Shankar's musical concert. And yeah, we'll see the remaining details about her. Then yeah, it continues. Shh, shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. So someone is sleeping nearby. You'll wake him up. You know he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. So her mother is warning her, like, keep quiet, don't wake him up. So we don't know who he is. And yeah, and mother also tells that he needs all the sleep and the rest he can get. So from that we can guess, like, okay, sometimes he may be tired or he'll be sick, we don't know, but that boy or he needs rest. So she is asking her daughter to not to wake him up. Now yeah, let us continue. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. He raised himself upon his elbows for 1 second, then fell back. But his eyes were shining. We mustn't miss the chance, he said. I have always wanted to hear him and see him. So that boy, he was not actually sleeping, and he got so excited, like the girl, when he heard that name Pandit Ravi Shankar. And he said, okay, the sitar maestro. So Pandit Ravi Shankar is a familiar figure for them. And he was saying sitar maestro. So that word maestro, that is important. It means what? A great performer or a great musician. Okay, so that word is important. Why? Because you can get a question to write the one word for a particular thing. So you may get a question like, okay, a great musician or a great musical performer. What is a, like, can give one word for that? So that is maestro. So you should take a note of that word and study it. Study the spelling also. He raised himself upon his elbows for 1 second. So all of a sudden, when the boy heard this name, he tried to raise himself upon his elbows as he is lying on the bed, and the next second, like, he fell back to the bed. But his eyes were shining. That means he was so excited, and he was saying, "Okay, we should not miss this chance. We should go for that concert. I have been waiting. I have been like I always wanted to listen to his music. Okay, so he is also very much excited. Let us move to the next paragraph. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. So when the boy woke up and like when he fell back to the bed, the mother like she went so fastly to him and she was requesting him to lie down. He actually raised himself up without help. She murmured with a catch in her throat and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. So she felt a bit happy when she saw her boy or her son lift himself up without anyone's help. So from that we should understand that that boy is ill for a long time and he needed he always needed someone's help to get up. And yeah, so all of a sudden at that moment this mother, she is looking onto the idols kept in the shelf. Idols means what? Some statues of goat statues, and that prayer, okay, that prayer which she uttered endlessly. So she always used to pray for him, and that same prayer came to her lips again. I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. So now the boy, he's not worried about his illness and he's saying, I must hear him, I must see him. It's a chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. See, so the boy, he was demanding, I want to see him, I want to listen to him, and this is a chance, I won't get this chance again. But soon he started to cough and um, he became breathless, he was striving hard to breathe. So they what was done next? He was given oxygen from the cylinder. So that shows how ill he is. They have a cylinder, an oxygen cylinder kept under the cot or the bed. So that shows how ill he is. And yeah, but even though he was coughing and even though he was feeling so much difficulty to breathe, still his eyes were fixed on his sister. Okay, he was hopefully looking at his sister. Somehow he want to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar. Let us see the next paragraph. Yeah, Smita bit her lip in self-reproach. Okay, so Smita, at that moment she might have felt, okay, I should not have read that news so loudly, right? She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. In her excitement of seeing that name Pandit Ravishankar in the newspaper, she actually forgot her about her brother and his illness. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anand was going to die. So the girl's name is Smita and her brother's name is Anand. So the girl, that is a 16-year-old girl. So even though, yeah, her brother was under treatment, and even though she or her mother, they couldn't understand what the doctors were speaking, she had an idea or she knew that her brother Anand is going to die or he is not going to live long. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of four, to their home in Gaganpur. So, this family is from Gaganpur. So, their family consists of four members, obviously, father, mother, and the two kids, and the boy is suffering from cancer. Even though they hoped or they were very hopeful, uh, okay, he'll come back to life, they'll go back to their place Gaganpur happily, they'll live together. uh, Still they knew that that won't happen. That boy is seriously ill, he's not going to live long. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar. They were both taking sitar lessons, but Anand was better than her, as in many other things. So, yeah, in these lines or from these lines, we can understand how talented Anand was. He was a great table tennis player. He was the fastest runner, and both the boy and the girl they were taking sitar lessons. And in that also, this Anand was very good, or he was far better than Smita in playing sitar. He was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru. Then cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. So this boy, even though they were taking sitar classes together, this boy he started making or composing his own tunes even before her sister, and at a very early stage, which even what made their guru wonder like how talented he is. And yeah, now they came to Bombay to treat or get the treatment for cancer. Okay, and yeah, this shows as why both of them were so much excited about Pandit Ravi Shankar. Whenever they came to Bombay, the family stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. So, whenever they came to Bombay for treatment, they stayed with their Aunt Sushila. Okay, so she had a very small apartment, but she was a good lady and they were like allowed to stay there. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anand would be cured at the hospital and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. So this family they came to Bombay with great hopes. They thought that the medical science or the doctors they'll be certainly able to cure him or cure his disease, and like he'll come back to life soon and he'll take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament, and he would play the sitar and perhaps would be a great sitarist one day. So these are were their hopes. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, take him home. So that particular word, take him home, that shows what, like the doctors they don't have anything else to do. Everything is done. Now just take him home. Give him the things he likes, indulge him, and they knew then that the boy had not many days to live. So from their words, like keep him happy, give whatever he wants. So from that word, certainly they can guess like he is not going to live more. But they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave whatever he asked for, and now he was asking to go to the concert. The chance of a lifetime, he was saying. So this family, they were taking all the efforts to keep Anand happy. They were doing whatever he want, and like they were like doing everything to make him happy. But now at this point, he is asking to go for the concert. But how can they fulfill it? He is already bedridden. When you're better, his mother said, this is not the last time they are going to play. So his mother said, when you are when you are you'll get better soon, and after that you can go for the concert. See, they are going to conduct the concerts again, so you can participate in, or you can go and watch those concerts. Okay. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes filled with tears. Her mother whispered, but you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you. So the mother, she's so kind, and now the mother is telling to Smita, Smita, you can go. Okay, you can go. Your father will take you. So, like, see how good that mother is. She's thinking, like, at least her daughter, let her get that opportunity. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, no, how can I? We have always done things together, Anand and I. So, like, at this point, the story turns more emotional. And she's saying that, like, how can I live alone? Like, how can I go and watch a concert alone? We used to do everything together, me and Anand. So, she cried in front of Aunt Sushila. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Sushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. So Aunt Sushila said, okay, better you go to the park, take a walk so you may feel better. And she went to the park. So there were so many people, but even when she was in such a crowd, she felt so lonely and she was immersed in her own thoughts. Suddenly, a daring thought came to her and she hurried home. She said to herself, why not? There is no harm in trying it. So, suddenly, she got some idea in her mind and it's not shown here. And so, suddenly, she went back to home and she said, why not? There is no harm in trying it. So, she has decided to try out something. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar, she said to her mother later. And her father agreed to get the tickets. So now she went to her mother and she told, okay, so let us go. Okay, I don't know like when we'll get another chance again. So we'll go for the concert. And like her father agreed to get the tickets. Let us see what else happened. Yeah, the next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, enjoy yourself, though the words came out in painful gasp. Lucky you. So her father and Smita, they decided to go for the concert the very next day. And the brother told her like, okay, enjoy the concert. So they understood like how much pain he had in mind. Like he wished so much to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar and now he couldn't do that. Listen. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard as in a dream the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones, but all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime, she heard Aunt's voice in every beat of the tabla. So, like when the concert is about to start, so the people gave him a grand welcome and he started playing the music. She felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening, some magic is happening, and she was like spellbound. There is no words, okay? She listened to it, and like, yeah. So, all these times she was thinking about working out that plan she had in her mind, and she was thinking about her brother's words, that is, the chance of a lifetime. The concert came to an end and the audience gave the artist a standing ovation. So when the concert was over, everyone they stood up and they gave him a big round of applause. A large mustachioed man made a long boring speech, then followed the presentation of bouquet. Then more applause and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exit. Okay, so yeah, they gifted him with bouquets and like long speeches were made by a man. Everything was done. The program is over. The curtain came down, and the people began to move towards the exit. Like all the people, they started to leave. Hmm? Now let us see what happened next. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. So now she's going to work out that plan she had in her mind. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly, so she is very nervous and excited. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert to help carry bouquet, anti-cups, and instruments. So there were many people along with whom? Pandit Ravi Shankar. Okay? They were helping him to carry bouquet, the teacups, and the instruments. He was there standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. So, our great musician or maestro, Pandit Ravi Shankar, he was not alone. He had his tablaist, and that too another wizard of music or a what? A great, like the word wizard, that means what? A person who is especially good at some kind of art. So here Ustad Allah Rakha, he is very good at playing tabla. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them, her hands folded. Oh, sir, she burst out. So, she's very nervous, but still Smita managed. She went up to them, she folded her hands and like she just bursted out. She started crying. Yeah, he asked questioningly but kindly. and her story came pouring out. The story of her brother who lay sick at home, and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. So now she just opened up and like she told to Pandit Ravi Shankar all about her brother and his wish to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar, to listen to his music and listen to the what the great artist Allah Ragha, Ustad Allah Ragha. So all these things she just told to Pandit Ravi Shankar. And what happened next? Yeah, little girl, said the mustachioed man who had made the long speech. Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. So in the last previous paragraphs, it was told like a man after the concert, a mustachioed man, he made a long speech, a boring one. So that man was here also, and soon after listening to this girl, that man said, "What? See, Panditji, he is very what? He's very busy, and he don't have time for all these stuffs or to listen to your request. Please leave him alone." But Pandit Ravishankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" See, but Pandit Ravishankar, though he was a great musician, he was not what? He was not like he was very kind. So he just told that man to keep quiet, and he asked to Ustad Allah Raga, like, "What shall we do?" The Ustad moved the wire of pan from one cheek to another. "Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy." "Yes," he said. So at this point, what did Ustad Allah Raga said? He said, "Okay, yeah, shall we perform for that boy tomorrow morning? Are we?" So, like even Panditji, he was so happy, and what his reply? Panditji replied, "Yes, it's settled then." So there is no more confusion, no more tensions. It's done. We'll perform for that boy tomorrow morning. Like we'll meet that boy tomorrow morning. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anand was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. So Anand's condition is so critical. He is breathing oxygen from the cylinder. He can't breathe his own. And now, yeah, they reached home very late, but she was very excited. Did you hear him? He whispered. So even at this point, Anand is so much excited, and he's asking his sister, like, "Have you listened to Ravi Shankar's music? Have you?" "I did," she replied, "and I spoke to him, and he'll come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad, and they will play for you." So Smita, like she said, "Yeah, I listened to them, I talked to them, and tomorrow morning they'll be here to play the music, to entertain you. They'll come and meet you." So it's not only the Panditji, along with that, Ustad Allah Raga, he'll also come. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men getting out of taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. It's not impossible, they said. So the very next day, the morning, Panditji, he kept his word. Like he came there along with his, Ustad Allah Raga. They came out of the car, and like people were staring at them. They couldn't believe. They thought like it's impossible. How can this happen? After all, like, yeah, these people, they're nothing, they're common people. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Ragha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went and sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boys surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. So what happened? They went to Aunt Sushila's house. They sat near the window on a divan, and they started playing, and they played for the boy. So like when they played the music, the boy was so happy. And that happiness is not like it's something extraordinary. It was a great happiness, a beautiful one. So it was so beautiful, and the boy was so happy that his life went out of him very gently. Like he died so calmly, without any strain. The boy, like the life, or yeah, his breath left him, the life left him, and he passed away. Being very happy, or so happily he passed away. So this is the story. Hope you all like it. Um it's very emotional. But yeah, like different people, like when we read a story, um, our feelings or like emotions or our opinion about the story, it will be different, right? It will be different. For me, according to me, it's a very emotional one, and I love it, right? It talks about that power of music, and even I love music. I love enjoying music, listening to music, and it talks about that warmth of relationship, right? Even though, so it's a, like, it's something given for us to think. Okay, don't take it simply as a story. Don't read it for the sake of exam. Read it and try to feel it. Okay, think about your relationships, like uh, how good you are being a brother or being a sister, or are you a good friend, or are you a good son, are you a good daughter, like do you love your parents sincerely, or what can you do for them, what can you do for your family to keep them happy. Think about all these things, or make a plan, like I'll do this for my father when I get a job, or I'll do this for my mother when I get a job, like I'll keep them happy. Like, think about it. Okay, and even you can write your own notes, or like small paragraphs. Try to bring out your emotions. And what, maybe you can be also a great writer, or a poet in future, who knows, right? So try to write, like even you can do it, huh? So read the story, enjoy it, and yeah, study it also. uh, what, make those words which I said, which are important, like maestro, wizard, keep a note of it, learn the spellings, and yeah, if you have some doubt, post it in the comment box. And yeah, that's all for today. Take care. Bye.